I think the way that you introduced it, there's, excuse me, there's two specific things. You just mentioned the fact that Eli Tomac, they don't mess with the bike. And what a blessing it must be for Jade Dungy, because he used to work for Sexton. You know, this isn't right. This isn't right. This isn't right. This isn't right. Then he gets a chance to work with Tomac. And I want the way that you described it. Let's keep it in parallel. You have Tomac who comes over, new platform, completely, right? No longer a Japanese bike. Now we're on an Austrian brand, completely different characteristics. He did want the cable clutch and he got it. Jade says they don't mess with much. Then you look at the other side of the equation where you have Chase Sexton, who, like you say, Kawasaki's got a ton of R&D that's over there. It goes back to, like you were saying, is it a rider that knows what he wants and gets it? Or is it a rider that doesn't know what he wants? And if you start playing the exponential game, and we've talked about it on the show before, you take three variables, 3 to the third power is 27 different combinations. So what you just articulated, frame length, bar bend, chassis, triple clamps, this, that, look at the number of combinations that you can get so lost in the process and the setup. Now, we all will admit that Chase Sexton is poetry in motion when he's comfortable on a bike. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I will say he's the most talented guy without Jet on the track right now.
I mean, it's beautiful. I don't want that to sound soft and fluffy, but it's poetry in motion. Then you go back over, I'm going to go a completely different direction. You look at Hunter and Jet have been on the Honda now for what, 4 years. Hunter likes to get a practice cycle on his clutch. Then they pull that clutch out and they take that clutch to the race. That's how he knows what kind of a feel he wants. Well, that just comes from being on a bike for 4 years. I know there's been design changes, but in regards to like how you like the clutch, how much grab, how much rigidity do you want in the frame? But when you're on the same color for 4 or 5 years, you get that information, which is even more impressive on what Tomac's done in 1 year and adds to more confusion with Chase. Does he really know what he wants? No pun intended. He keeps chasing setup. We just haven't landed anywhere.
But see, given Kawasaki the benefit of the doubt, I find it hard to believe that, like what Weimer said on the Pulp MX podcast, that they weren't at least giving them the opportunity to bar bends,
Sure.
Ignition mapping, suspension changes. Like what I'm trying to say is, like, what kind of unobtainium changes do these teams usually go through on these motorcycles to get their riders to fit in? Because bare minimum, they should be able to do what I just, and if not, then the argument is completely valid. If you're not allowed to touch the motorcycle at all.
Well, I can't believe, we know that Chase is the number one guy at Cowie. So to your point, giving Kawasaki the benefit of the doubt, it's not like they're bringing stuff that you and I can buy at the dealership and saying, okay, Chase, let's make this work. They are bringing everything. I want to be careful. Like you say, cynics, critics kind of thing. It just sounds to me like Chase doesn't know what he wants. And so they just keep moving everything. The best example I can give is he rides Levi Kitchen's bike, loves it, says, I want the pro circuit stuff, puts the forks, puts the shock on, wins the next weekend. And then we heard the next week, stuff's garbage, take it off, don't want it anymore. In 7 days, from winning to I don't like it at all. Where you have Tomac that came in.
See, is this just rumors? Because he hasn't like physically come out and said anything. I meing, it's just
he can't. Yeah, you know those guys. They've got a gag order on themselves like nobody's other. You know what I mean? He being Sexton got crucified for calling the system or the circuit a circus. You know,
and you know, like I like Sexton. Again, I believe he's like the most talented guy. And when I was talking to his team manager, I'm like, I don't envy you because you're trying to, tame a wild horse that doesn't possibly want to take direction very well from anyone. And I don't like the rumors I've been hearing by like trying to figure out, because we haven't figured out what his injury was. It was just 3 weeks ago or something, crashed hard.
But you know how that is, though. That's the nature of our sport.
Yeah, and it sucks. Like, I expect him to come out and say, hey, I separated my shoulder, or I have a giant contusion on my ass, something. Because the rumors I've been hearing have been that he just doesn't like the motorcycle, so he said he's not going to ride until it's fixed. And that, to me, doesn't seem like that's very... the validity in that is, like, almost zero. Because
what do you mean the validity? What do you mean the validity is zero?
I mean that the rumor, there's no way that that can be true, because a corporation like Kawasaki that has a rider, you get fired for something. Like if I was the head honcho at Kawasaki and my riders were saying that shit, be like, okay, we're prematurely canceling your contract, and you know, you'll either be hearing from our lawyers or something, and we're gonna go, Marchbanks, you move up. Levi, can you fill in, or can we have Bogle, or find somebody to fit that shoes? Because I just don't see how that could fly.
Well, I think you just solved the riddle, because if a rider gets hurt because of a mechanical, Kawasaki doesn't want that going out there that their number one rider got hurt because of a mechanical. Chase Sexton can't say that he got hurt because of a mechanical. So we don't know if it's mechanical. We don't know if
Why
Chase
not? Because we know that these motorcycles malfunction from time to time.
But just coming back to your original question, why are we not hearing anything? Why? Because Sexton can't go out and say we had a mechanical and it let go, right? To your point exactly. Then if you have Sexton, who, we have two separate scenarios. We have Sexton who has an attitude and just says the bike sucks, I don't want to ride it. To your point, here's our lawyer's number. You'll be hearing from him soon. Or the other side of the equation, the bike hurt Sexton. We don't want to talk about the magnitude of the injury. It might be a hair, it might be a hangnail. Sexton's going to use an injury clause that he doesn't have to ride. But we know Sexton wants to race because it's costing him a tremendous amount of money not being out there every weekend, right? That's another thing that we have a tendency to forget about. When you can win $100,000 a weekend, I'm sure Chase doesn't want to give up that opportunity to make that kind of money. So then you get into this, all right, he said, she said, is Chase legitimately hurt? Well, we can't really find out about it, because if we do, and it was associated with a mechanical, it's just another big black eye on Cowie. Cowie can't throw Chase under the bus and say he's just got a piss poor attitude or his dad's hard to deal with. So you get we're back to the same thing that I don't consider myself a talking pundit. You are. Someone like yourself with your type of a platform amongst some others, we all say the same thing. Well, if you don't tell us what it is, we can only speculate, and we're doing it right now, right?